Hi Kirby fans, today what we're going to be doing is checking out what my maintenance tips are each month, what I do with my Kirby to keep it running really good. So what we'll do is we'll get straight to it. Hi Kirby fans, welcome back to the channel. Again, those who are new to the channel, if you're getting value out of this content and you haven't already, then contemplate slapping that subscribe button to support the channel. It's absolutely free. Ding that bell for notifications so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Give us a big thumbs up and comment down below. I will reply to the comment, and if you like what you comment, I'll pin it to the video. Right, so today's episode, what I want to do is I'm going to give you some maintenance tips on what I actually do with my Kirby each month just to keep it running sweet and so I don't have any actual issues with it. And if you're a new Kirby owner, this is ideal for you just to keep on top of your Kirby and keep it running efficiently. So what we'll do is we'll get straight to it. So today we're going to be using the Sentria. We're just doing general maintenance. I normally do mine sort of every month, every 2 months. It's entirely up to you. You can do it every 3 months. It just depends how often you use your Kirby. Now I use mine daily basically, but I don't use every single Kirby daily. So I'm going off the daily driver at the moment. I'm using the Sentria too. I've seemed to come accustomed to it and I quite like it. My G4, I've just give that a bit of a rest for the moment purely because I want to get it all polished up and then start using it again, but I just want to get it all buffed up. So at some point I will be buffing that up and getting that really nice looking new. I've ordered some new parts for it, like a bumper and stuff like that, yeah, trim. So just to get it looking back the way it did. I could take it to Kirby and pay to get it done, but it's probably cheaper just to order the parts, and I'll put a link in the description of everything I use today and any Kirby parts you might need. So what we'll do is we'll carry on with this. I'll quickly zoom in and I'll quickly show you what I actually do, and it's normally every 2 months for me, sometimes every 3, just depends on how much I'm actually using the Kirby and what I'm using it for. Now if you've been shampooing, again I'll just give a bit of advice. If you've been shampooing, make sure when you finish shampooing, I normally take the head off and I wipe all underneath to stop any corrosion, because you're going to get water. And obviously your shampoo's 95% foam, 10% water, but it's still going to get moisture underneath that Kirby, and you've got aluminium under there. So just make sure you dry that when you've been shampooing. Right, so first up, you're going to obviously need a Kirby. You might need a Stanley knife or a craft knife. It's very rare I need to use the Stanley knife, but some of the Kirbys I've picked up, people are going to need a Stanley knife if it's getting that bad. Also, you'll want to lubricate your gasket. Now you can use the Kirby lubrication gasket, which I use, or you can use silicone spray. Makes not either way. This is probably a bit cheaper. I tend to get that from Kirby, so I just use that. But that's basically what it is. It's like a silicone sealant. That's all it is. And then also some baby wipes or some disinfectant wipes. And those are the 4 things. So what we'll do is we'll get straight to it. Right, so first up, what we'll start with is obviously you can check your lead. What I tend to do is, if you go around this side and just check your lead, so pull your bag off, okay, and just check you've got no splits here, anywhere like that. What happens, it tends to split there, and I have shown it in another video. Just check it's not split and your cable's all fine. So that's just a bit of a safety tip. Now the other one, first thing I do, and this is every couple of months, is you pull this out here, so that pulls out. So as you can see, we've got all gumph around here, and this is what you need to clean and lubricate. Now what I'll do is I'll just quickly zoom in and show you inside the Kirby as well. Okay, so as we look at our Kirby, you've got where this is actually coming, and it should pull out. If it doesn't pull out, it's actually full of rubbish behind there. Now you'll get all dirt and grime in and around there. So what I tend to do is I just grab a wet wipe, and obviously make sure you're not vacuuming straight after. But I just grab a wet wipe and just literally wipe in there with a wet wipe just to get that nice and clean. And you can see all the gumph that gets stuck in there. So just make sure it's nice and clean. You might need a couple, 1 or 2 of them. Okay, try not to get your fingers stuck in, but I'll just give that a nice wipe out, like so. So I use 2. Grab another one. Now these are 10 a penny. You know, they're only cheap, and it's just a cheap solution. Obviously don't lose that down there, but you can see now that's a lot cleaner than what it was. Okay, so also you want to grab this piece here and just give this a wipe. Just make sure that's nice and clean and all the gumph is off around there. Okay, so once that's clean and dry, you can pop that back in your Kirby. Now, if you need a replacement one of these as well, these do wear over time. If they're not being cleaned, they tend to gump up, and then the bag going on off tends to wear them away. And I'll put a link in the description for a new one of these as well. Now, the other thing I do, and I've got a video on how to clean your wheels. So what I do is I make sure mine's not in drive. I make sure the belt's not wound on, and then all I do is I'll turn it on, and I'll push this forward and hold a wet wipe there, and that will clean the wheels. And next up, we'll move on to the head, and then we'll come back to the bag after. So with your head, obviously you've got your newspaper down, and the advantage of wet wipes is all the dirt sticks to the wet wipes, so it doesn't end up so messy. So you can flip this up and take that off. Okay, now with your head or your power nozzle, you're going to want to check, and you can see it here, my partner's got long hairs. There's quite a few hairs around there, and they're starting to build up. Now this is literally over a month, so you've got to be aware of that. And I have picked up some really bad Kirbys that you couldn't even see the brush rolls for the hairs. So you grab that, just tap that out, put that to one side. If it's got any gunk in there, just get a wet wipe and wipe it out, you know, just like so. Put that to one side. Now you're going to take your brush roll out, so you can pull that with here, and out it comes. Okay, now we can see all the gunk that's around here. You can see it all wrapped around there. Now, if you let it build up too much, you're not going to get it off. Now this is what the standing off is for if it gets really bad, but most of this, if you do that, you can literally pull the hair off. It's just as the hair sort of escalates around it, then you have problems getting all that hair off. But this is literally my partner's hair. Obviously it's not mine. So that's one advantage. I don't get hairs around my Kirby from me, and I save on shampoo. Alright, so next up what we're going to do is I normally take the ends of these off, and you're just going to check behind there. Now you can see behind there you've got that bearing. So again, I just grab a wet wipe and wipe just around there, just to get all that gump and grime that's in there and around there. Okay, now you can leave these to dry, and you can get replacement bearings for these as well, and I will put a link in the description. Okay, I tend to wipe my brush roll as well, just make it smell a bit sweeter. Now it's only a wet wipe, so it's not going to hurt it. It's an anti-bac disinfectant one as well, so it's going to make your Kirby smell a bit sweeter if there's anything stinking on those bristles that you've caught. So that's that, and then we'll leave that off for now. Take the other one off. Now bear in mind your grey one always goes next to the bearing, which is there, the ball bearing there, the little magnet. So again, we'll just grab a wet wipe and just give that a bit of a clean as well. Okay. So just clean all around there. Now again, like I said, your grey one always goes to there. So put that to one side, and then just wipe inside there so you can actually see all the grime is inside there. Now if these are kept clean, you're not going to have any issues with your brush roll. Okay, but this is the main reason that what I do that for. And I'd say I just do this every 2 to 3 months, depending how much you use your Kirby and how many people have got long hair in your family. If you've got a lot of girls in your family, then there's going to be a lot of hair on the floor, in your bathroom, in the carpet, everywhere, and it is an absolute nightmare. So leave that to one side just to dry. Same with that one, just wipe the back, and I'll leave that to dry. So while that's drying now, I'll just throw this to one side. We're going to grab our power nozzle, so make sure your hands are dry, and you're just going to pull the bumper off, because what tends to happen is you get all grime and bits under your bumper. Like so. And you can see all that falling out. Now it's entirely up to you again. I just wipe inside it with a wet wipe. Again, make sure it's all dry before you start using it again. But I literally just wipe all that out just to keep that nice and clean and nice and fresh. You know, you've paid a lot of money for your Kirby and you want it to last. And it doesn't take much to actually do this. So I'll throw that to one side. Well, like I said, these wipes are literally, I pay I think $5 a packet if that. Now your bumper, you're going to get all rubbish underneath here. So I just get my wet wipe and just slide along there. And this just saves it getting in a really bad state as you vacuum in. And it just keeps your Kirby looking nice and new and clean. And it will work more efficiently because it's not getting all bogged down with dirt and grime. So again, we'll just leave that to one side. So next up we've got our bag. So again, make sure there's no hair or blockages in your bag. And again, you can wipe these out with your wet wipe just to keep it smelling a bit sweeter. So I tend to wipe that out, just like so, and then pull that out. Obviously let it dry. I only use wet wipes purely because it saves you cleaning, and they smell, these are the apple ones, so they smell really nice. But you want to make sure there's no gump in here where it locks in. Okay, and the same on your Kirby, make sure there's no gump around here. Okay, so with your bag again, obviously pick it up, give it a shake and give that a tap, and just make sure, look at that, that none of that is in there. So I did clean that out, but there's all that, and that was literally stuck in the boot. So that will reduce your suction straight away, and that is literally a lump of hair and dust. Right, so with our bag, just make sure you've got no leaks in here. Now, this bag's not that old, so literally take your bag off. Okay, just be careful when you take that off. There is going to be dust in there. It's not as bad as what was in the Dyson, but you're still going to have a bit of dust in there. Okay, now you can see again, I've got all grime in there, so you can give that a tap out on your paper or over your bin just to get all that out. Okay, and then all I do again is I just grab a wet wipe. So on the paper I'll just throw it on the wet wipe just to pick all that grime up and get it stick to the wet wipe. And then in my hose I just give that a wipe out as well. So clean all the outside first. Okay, and then just grab that and just give that a wipe out as well. Now you can go one step further if you want, you can take all this off, but it's pretty pointless because you've got cable ties around there and it means you've got to buy new cable ties to get that off. So just in case, it's either that or you wash it out. But I just find these seem to wipe clean really well, and they're just a cheap, nice option, and they stop the hose smelling. So if you've ever found you've got your Kirby smelling, sometimes it's not just your bag, sometimes it's whatever's got in this hose and actually stuck to it, it's the dust and grime. But if you're wiping them out every now and again, every couple of months, with a wet wipe, you're going to keep on top of it. So again, we'll just leave that to one side to dry. So it should take about 10-15 minutes for all those to dry. So while that's drying, you can jump onto something else. So what I tend to do is just clean around this seal as well. So any grime that's on there, just give that a wipe. Clean that, clean that. You can clean your wheels if you want. So give my wheels a wipe, front ones, and that one as well. That's that. And the back ones, give it a quick wipe over your casing, like so. And if you want, you can hold that and literally rub that, and it will come off. So it's up to you whether you want to start it up and you do the. I'll put an iCard above of how I do it normally if it's fully assembled, but while it's off, just give it a wipe, and you can see all the grime's coming off there, because all that grime, if you've got hardwood floors, all that grime is going to end up on your carpets if you're shampooing them. It tends to wheel spin if you've got the tech drive on. I mean, you shouldn't have the tech drive on when you're shampooing, but I just find that if you keep those nice and clean, if you've got nice white carpets or cream carpets, you're not going to get all that grime on them. Also, you're not going to get stuff sticking to your wheels if you try and keep them clean. just like so. Okay, again, make sure it's in neutral. And the more you keep these clean, the easier it is to actually clean them. So you can see all the grime that's actually on there, and that's just off them wheels. And that's literally from vacuuming. I run it up and down on my bamboo floor. And that's that. Right. So now if you've got your silicone spray or your gasket sealant, so that'll be dry in a minute. So what I tend to do now is this bit here, you can take it out again. I put some gasket lubricant around there. Now I will put a link in the description where to get this, and it's just to keep that rubber nice and lubricated, just so it makes it easier for that bag to slide on and off. Okay, and then we'll put that back in there. Now this goes the same for your Heritage or your Legend. You've got a rubber seal actually inside at the back of the bag. Everything I'm using today I will put in a link in the descriptions of the video. So this is all dry now, so we can actually get this back together. Now check your belt as well, check your belt's not worn. 9 times out of 10, if it's been wheel spinning or spinning and the light's been flashing, then obviously the belt's worn. But if it hasn't been flashing, then it's fine. But what I tend to do is I normally get under the belt and just see if it's stretched. So if you're holding the belt against it, you can actually see if it's stretched. Other than that, just check none of this is worn and there's no marks in there. Okay, so that goes back on there. Then we grab our silicone spray. Now it's dry. Okay, so make sure you do this over the paper. So I'll just get my silicone spray and just give that a light spray. And that is that. And then that clips back on there. Okay, same on the other side. I'll just give a light spray. And then put my cap back on that edge. Okay, got a hair there I missed. But you can see that spinning freely. So we've got our power nozzle now and it's nice and dry. Our bumper's nice and dry, so we're just going to slot this back on. Okay, so you just put it on one side, stretch it over, slide it on that side, there, and back on there. Now you can give these a polish at the same time if you want. I've got links in the description of what polish I use. Okay, so once that's back on, and just make sure slot it over there, then all we do is get this section here. Now the bit with the ball bearing, which is the magnet, obviously needs to go in line with this. So again, what I do, make sure you put it back on the same number you got it at as well. Now if you've got a new Kirby, these are always set to 1. So what I do is I flick these round, so I'll go 3, 2, 1, and the same with this one, 3, 2, 1, and slot that back in there. Okay, make sure that's fully down. We grab our floor plate or rug plate, slot that on there, slot that over, and then that you literally lock it in and lock it in, and that then is ready to go back on your Kirby. So put that back on. Now I don't want my belt on. Like I say, if you leave your belt on, it tends to stretch. So put that there. Okay, so now we can come back to our bag, and as you can see, oops. Alright, so now we'll come back to our bag, and so now we'll grab our bag, and as you can see, it's all dry inside. Just check there's no splits down the base here, because if you've overfilled your bag, what tends to happen is when you're vacuuming the bed, because you've overfilled it, it crushes this and it tends to split there. Now this mainly happens on the old G3s, G4s. They have changed the plastic on these now to this style, but I have seen some of these that I've purchased and they have been split, and you can get replacement ones of these as well. So if you want, while you've got it off, if you sniff your bag, if your bag's fine, then you don't need to do that, but I will put a link in an iCard above to how to remove your bag if you want to launder it at the same time. So what we'll do now is just put our disposable bag back in, so you can see there where that's got crushed at some point. Obviously this was second hand, but it's been crushed against something. So now we'll just grab our bag and put our bag back in, slot that over and pop that in there. Okay, we'll just put our bag back in. and we'll zip that back up. Okay. Now if you've got dogs, your bags might start to smell. You can get odorific things that you drop in your bags. I normally just use some Glen 20, and all I normally do is just spray it in the machine while it's running, just a light spray just in front of it, just to get it to suck it through, and it'll freshen your bag up and make it last that little bit longer. Okay, so now we can stick this back on the machine. Okay, and because we're using newspaper, you literally throw everything in your newspaper, fold it in. Obviously I'm using A4 paper, or A5, or A1, sorry. Fold it all in, and all that can go in the bin. Right, so I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope it was really informative. I'm just trying to get those little tips out there on things I actually do to keep my Kirby running nice and sweet. So again, it's going to save you on servicing. As you've seen, the amount of dust that actually came out of that boot, and that was just for a couple of months. That's literally because it's picked up some hair, and it's got mixed with the dust, and it's just sort of congealed together and got stuck in that hose. Now it's literally a case of tapping it over the bin every now and again, or you can do what I do every couple of months, just tap it over a piece of newspaper and just give it a bit of a clean out and a freshen up. Also, you suit lubricating those bearings, which is going to keep those running sweet. You can get replacement bearings for them if you wish, and you can get replacement brush rolls. Also, the one tip I want to give you as well is when you're checking your brush roll, just put a straight edge across the bottom, and I'll put an iCard above of a video showing you how to do that, how to set the correct height on your Generation series right up to the Avalir 2, just to make sure you've got the correct brush roll height. Now, if you've bought a new Avalir, it should already be set on number 1, but you can check for where they are adjustable in case you didn't know. But you have to get a straight edge and literally hold it across the top just to check that that brush roll is coming past about 3mm. If it's gone flush, then obviously you'll wind it down to number 2, and so on. So there's another little tip for you as well, for all those new Kirby owners that are just discovering the channel. I don't know if Kirby sort of tell you this anymore. Quite a few people have been shocked when I have actually told them about this. I've seen a couple of videos where they're advising you that you can adjust the height of your brush roll for deeper carpet. It's not for that. If you do that, you will, and I guarantee you will burn belts out like they're going out of fashion, because you're winding the brush roll down too far that it needs to go before it's due to go that far. So instead of it sticking past 3mm, it'll be sticking past 6mm or even 9mm if you're whacking it down to number 3 straight away. So again, when you put your belts back on as well, just make sure that you put it back in on the same number that you took it out. There is only 3 settings. The other setting isn't a setting. There's just no number on there whatsoever. So again, those who are new to the channel, if you find you're getting value out of this content and you haven't already, then contemplate showing your support, and it's absolutely free. Slap that subscribe button, so if it's red, turn it grey. Ding that bell for notifications so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Give us a big thumbs up and comment down below. I will reply to the comments, and if you like what you comment, I'll pin it to the video. So again, thanks to everyone for watching, thanks for all your support, and a big thank you to all my continued subscribers and new subscribers, much appreciated. And if you want to be in with a chance to enter that competition that should hopefully go up over this weekend once we hit that 900 subscriber mark. So again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you are to enter that competition. I can't wait till we get to 1,000 subscribers so I can actually give that Kirby away and actually make this channel grow even more. So let's get this channel shared. Let every Kirby person you know out there, families, friends, everybody, just share this channel with them so they can all benefit from the money saving tips and tutorials that are on here. So what we'll do now is we'll cut to the bloopers, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hi Kirby fans, welcome back to the Right, so today we're just going to be servicing the G3. Now it's just a general maintenance tip. You can either do monthly or every how to set the correct height on your Generation.